Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin. Alan Ruffley, McCulloch and Tam McManus are here with me, and here's what's coming up on the show. Philippe Clement claims he's not thinking about winning silverware despite being 90 minutes away from a Hampden final.
It's just focusing on the game and not to think about silverware and how many games to get a trophy or whatever.
Stephen Naismith urges Hearts to drop their nearly men tag by beating Rangers to this season's League Cup final.
My time at the club, we've consistently been in semi-finals and finals, but yet not won one yet.
Hibs boss Nick Montgomery insists no team goes to a semi-final not aiming to book their spot in the showpiece event.
But nobody goes to a semi-final, anything else but to go and try and win it and advance to the final. So
Barry Robson has only one message for his players ahead of the Viaplay League Cup semi-final against Hibs: just win.
Just win. I think you're just here to try and win the game. And
yeah, just a message that every manager tells the players. Never mind all the tactics I've just mentioned to you in the previous 4 or 5 minutes. Win the match, and that's what's at stake in the semi-finals over the weekend. We've got SPFL fixtures to look forward to as well in the company of the lads. And all you have to do, if you want to join the football family, is hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. And thank you to so many of you for showing your support. Lots to talk about. Of course, never too far away from a little bit of controversy. Pyrotechnics certainly catching the eye of so many. There's going to be a summit to try and discuss how they tackle this. It's a difficult one, Ruffy, because somebody's going to get injured.
They are. I've actually seen somebody getting injured at a game as a Partick Thistle game. It was not a big crowd there. You know, somebody lit a flare from maybe 5 or 6 rows back. It never went full onto the pitch. It actually hit a young boy 5 or 6 seats down, and it's a nasty injury. It's a serious burn that you get. It's not just, you know, something that you should be treating very, very lightly. So the scale of what happened up at Dundee, I'm surprised nobody did get injured.
Yeah, the other problem with it, Lee, is actually trying to police it, because, you know, in the days when we were probably all going to football matches before you guys started playing professionally, there was quite a big police presence at matches. There's not as big a police presence, and there certainly isn't the way some season ticket holders can go into a match now, an area where you're constantly being checked.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing searches anymore, are they? And I don't know how actually big the pyrotechnics are, do you?
I couldn't tell you the size of them, but one thing about it, regardless of the fact that there could be injuries, even trying to prevent them is going to be difficult.
It's dangerous, as Ruffy's saying. It's dangerous, and I'm surprised seeing the vast majority of them in the stand. You could hardly see MD in the smoke coming out, that nobody was injured, and thank God nobody is injured, and let's see what the SPFL are going to do about it.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any fines, Tam. So if there's no fines, if there's no consequence, it's still going to keep going.
It's going to happen again, Peter, if there's no consequence or nothing's been done about it. As I said, it looks good as a spectacle, and there's no doubt about that, but all it takes is somebody to throw something, and it hits a kid or hits somebody that's no part of it, and they get a serious injury, as Ruffy said. So no, I think they've got to try and, you know, police it and get it out of the game. But it was good to see Rangers showing some flair on the pitch as well.
Yeah, I'm going to disregard that joke on the one basis that, quite simply, it is actually an offence to take them in, and there are pitches which have been damaged, the AstroTurf ones especially.
Yeah, but I know you're saying that with that amount of spectators getting it again, you can't search, but there's got to be a threat of search, and you would like to think, if we're going to get searched today, am I going to take the chance? That could be the one that's going to get searched and I'm going to get turned away. So there has to be some kind of threat put in place that stops the minority of doing it.
Yeah, the ultimate will be CCTV, which the police will then identify a number of people who have the flares. It's going to be very difficult, especially with the Dundee match, because that whole end, as you said, was completely lit up. And it delayed the start of the game as well. And in fact, I've witnessed some of the League Cup semi-finals, if my memory serves me correct, over the last couple of years. The game started and you couldn't actually see the pitch. It was incredible.
Yeah, and I think that up in Dundee, I think when he'd called them off the park, I think most of it had went away. But I saw the police always have the big say. I saw the police calling the referee over, and whatever that police superintendent says, that's the law. you know, and if it's health and safety, then you need to come off the park.
Yeah. Okay, in other news, of course, St Johnstone still have to find themselves a manager, despite the fact that they managed to get a win in midweek. It's always the way. Players actually, you know, players do my head in when they come in and say they let the manager down. Of course they let the manager down. They weren't playing for him. They downed tools, clearly.
Yeah, listen, I can just imagine Steve McLean sitting in his living room, you know, and they'd scored 3 goals in 9 games, and then 7 minutes into the game he gets sacked, they scored 2 goals. You know, that's just football, and I think it was the same with Stephen Hamill when he left Motherwell. Boy Kettlewell coming in and hit the ground running as well. So I don't think players ever down tools in terms of effort, but sometimes confidence can just get sapped for the legs and the team, and you look as if you're not trying. But I never came across any football player who wasn't trying on the part. So no, he'll be gutted about the result and getting sacked. But for St Johnstone, it was a massive result, and it gets them closer to the pack above them.
Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down in an argument with you, but what you just said there was a complete load of nonsense. I think there's a load of players who actually down tools and don't play for the manager. You only have to look at one of the best managers in history, Jose Mourinho. Chelsea players, you know, once the rot had set in, they were just not going to play for him.
No, but regarding St Johnstone, Nicky Clark's come back, the only goal scorer they've got in their squad, really. And Kane. So Nicky's got the 2 goals there, and goals change games, as everybody knows. So maybe they'll go on a little run in it. Yeah, and you dodged that one as well, didn't you? I could tell with the blank look on your face. Players that don't play for managers. Oh, I heard you. They don't like. Yeah, absolutely. Ruffy, you'll back me up on this.
I back you up to a certain extent. I can safely say in any of the teams I've been in, if there was any guy that I thought was chucking it out on the park, you get fun out. Yeah. You get fun out immediately, you know. So there have to be. I know what you're saying, but you're talking about a stage where there's multi-millionaires walking about a dressing room with all their issues and all that. I can believe in that scenario it could possibly happen. There's no doubt about that, because a lot of them are pretty precious. But I've never seen it in any of the clubs I've played with.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we discussed the actual game. It did eventually get the go-ahead in midweek for Rangers after all the flares. I think this weekend especially, Rangers won't want to be involved in another situation where there's lots of flares, although the Rangers manager did comment on it.
And the pyro thing we don't need. It doesn't give something extra. It's dangerous. So if they give all the other things, I will be a very satisfied manager. Oh, it happened much more than now. But it's good that there are rules, because it's dangerous thing. So I think we need to avoid that people can come in danger. So it's in a lot of places in the past that I've seen it. But it's good that there are strict rules, because we need to avoid that there's danger for people.
Yeah, absolutely. What we do need is quite a lot of excitement on the park. Rangers, slowly but surely, are responding to the new manager.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the signings that have come in at the start of the season are starting to find a wee bit of form. Dessers, Lammers, Danilo, just coming back for an injury there. So they're looking like they're different players to what they were. They've obviously just got a bit of confidence, a bit of belief for the manager. And I think the fans are starting to see from that game that there is something there, where at the start I think a lot of fans had given up early on them. So in turn, the full squad's starting to change it around a little bit, and I think the manager's demanded that respect as well, and I think by all means the players must respect him.
Yeah, do you think there's better football?
I think so, yes. I think under the previous manager we were getting told pre-season that there was going to be this attacking style of football, and I don't think it was that. And then the manager just came in and there's a 5-0 against a Dundee team that, albeit Rangers have got better players, but they were in a bit of form as well. So I think it's a massive result and sets them up perfectly for the big game at the weekend.
Yeah, I think the manner of some of the goals was good as well. Lammers, to be fair to the boy, he's taken a bit of stick. He scored an absolute belter.
Yeah, he did. Listen, fantastic goal, edge of the box, you know, curls it in off the underside of the bar, and then that will give his, I think that's the first goal he scored, league goal. I think that will give him so much confidence. I think he's been playing under pressure. I think when you go and sign for that kind of price tag at Celtic Rangers, you've got to hit the ground immediately. You've got to hit the ground running immediately, and he hasn't done that. As Jig said there, a lot of people have written him off as a dud. So he's obviously got something, and he's slowly but surely starting to show it. He should have scored last week against Hearts as well. So no, I think he's coming onto a game, but there's still a long way to go. But great result for Rangers and great performance, 5-0 up there. They're doing all right this season. Dundee have only lost 2 games, I think. They were pretty difficult to break down. So great result for Rangers, and it gives them confidence going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course it's the semi-final against Hearts to look forward to, and our man Adam Binney is all over it.
Hearts and Rangers will contest the second Viaplay Cup semi-final of the weekend when they face off at Hampden on Sunday. Philippe Clement has only been in the job a matter of weeks, but this weekend presents the perfect opportunity for him to get his side into a national final and potentially claim the first domestic trophy of the season. But for the new boss, that's not something he's thinking about just yet.
It's just focusing on the game, and not to think about silver work and how many games to get a trophy or whatever. It's focusing for the players on the tasks they need to do, in their position, what they need to do together, with the ball and without the ball, and putting all our energy into that.
Stephen Naismith, on the other hand, has plenty of Hampden experience. Hearts became perennial nearly men in cup competitions when he was at the club as a player. But now, in the dugout, Naismith is hoping to achieve as a manager what he failed to do as a player.
We're fortunate that we've got a few within the squad that have been in a few semi-finals and finals, which has been good. But I think the collective for myself and everybody at Hearts has been the hard luck story of being so close and not making. I think my time at the club, we've consistently been in semi-finals and finals, but yet not won one yet.
So who will come out on top on Sunday and claim their spot at Hampden for the final on December 17th? Will it be Hearts or Rangers?
Yeah, it's all up for grabs in this one, and Rangers fans will be happy, Ruffy, that the side's showing a little bit of form going into this one, because prior to it, before Clement came in, people were wondering whether this was a real opportunity for the other sides to bag the first piece of silverware. But I think Rangers now, is it fair to say, would be, you know, out and out red hot favourites?
Oh yeah, on the evidence of the Dundee game, yeah. But I mean, if you've got to cast your mind back 2 or 3 days to the Hearts game, I mean, Hearts will believe that they gave Rangers a reasonable go at it, you know, so they'll be getting into the semi-final thinking that they can do it, you know. But I just think Rangers have, Lee and Tam's just discussed, Rangers have got players now who were not under the cosh, but not, you know, firing on all cylinders, so they'll be coming off of that Dundee game, you know, with a lot of confidence getting into that game, and that can be a good thing for Hearts. But Hearts, so I think Shanklin now is beginning. You know, I thought he was doing a lot of stuff away out wide and that, but the other night he was getting more central, he was getting more shots at goal, you know, and, you know, I think he's going to be a massive player for them. But at the end of the day, I think the Rangers have got too much in reserve. Yeah,
is it going to need a Shanklin to be absolutely on for him to somehow upset the apple cart here?
Yeah, because I don't think Hearts are going to get bundles of chances. I think they might get maybe 2 or 3 decent chances within the game, and you're hoping that the fault of Shanklin. As Ruffy said the other night, he was very unlucky the other night not to score 2 or 3. He was excellent actually, his performance. I think he had 3 or 4 shots on target, hit the bar. His all-round performance was superb, and Hearts played really well actually. Hearts should have won the game 3 or 4-0 against Livingston. So they'll take confidence from that and the performance at Ibrox, but they'll need a Shanklin on top form, maybe to score 1 or 2 goals to get them through, because I don't see a lot of other goals, other threats in the Hearts team at the minute rather than him.
When he came in as manager, Stephen Naismith said he wanted to play on the front foot. How do you approach this one then? What do you think he's going to do?
Well, he did. He played Boyce and Shanklin through the middle during the week. Different kettle of fish playing Livingston at home than it is playing Rangers at Hampden. I don't know if he'll go with the 2 up front again. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll have a go. I don't know, but I think Hearts' best opportunity is just to try and frustrate Rangers again. Nearly done it at Ibrox. You know, they got early goal and they sat behind the ball, and it took, you know, a penalty and a good goal in the last kick of the ball to win the game. So I think Hearts will try the same, Peter. I think they'll play maybe 4-5-1 with Shanklin up front himself, and they'll try and hit Rangers in the counter.
Is that the best way?
I think so. I don't think you can go toe to toe with Rangers. Maybe a couple of weeks ago you'd fancy it, but no, now they've hit a bit of form. I think Stephen's got experience of football where he'll know to sit in and try and hit in the counter attack. It'll be interesting to see what formation he plays, but I'm with Tam where I think he'll go 4-5-1, let's say, and get a wee bit of pace out wide. Maybe Vargas will play on the right and Forrest maybe, yes, on the left and try to hit them on the counter attack. But Hearts will come with confidence. So it's up to Rangers. Both teams will be saying, let's start for first 10-15 minutes, go and get a foothold in the game and then try to dominate. But I just, Rangers, if they continue to form for the last game, it should be a whitewash, but it doesn't happen like that in cup games.
Yeah, I think the general consensus here, Ruffy, is that Hearts, if they can ride out, as you mentioned there, that first 15-20 minutes, they have to score first for me.
I think anybody in a semi-final, you've got to score first. You know, there's going to be a large contingent of fans for either side. You know, whoever gets that first goal, the whole place is going to erupt. You know, and sometimes when you get the first goal, if you're sensible enough, it could keep you going for 15, 20, 25 minutes as long as you don't concede. So yeah, it is really, really important. But again, I think Rangers will have more chances at goal than what Hearts will have.
Yeah, okay. Give us your prediction for the first semi-final.
2-0 Rangers.
2-0?
For the first semi... For
Rangers
game, sorry. Rangers in extra time, 2-1.
Okay.
2-1 to Rangers.
2-1 to Rangers. Okay, I think we're all agreed. Rangers will go through. What do you make of your boys, the Hibs? I mean, 2-0 up in midweek, Tam.
Yeah, 2-0 up cruising. I watched the game actually, I watched the full game. Didn't play particularly well first half. I thought Ross County were marginally the better side. They get the goal right on half time. Listen, it's pretty fortunate. You know, Johan hits a shot, deflects off the Ross County defender and goes in, and then they get the goal near enough right after it. You know, Jair goes through, great finish, 2-0 up. I think you can see the game out. Nick Montgomery made a number of substitutions which I thought were strange. He took Rocky Bashiri off at 2-0, who was having a very good game, solid, and they took Diego off, who was sitting in the middle of the pitch protecting, took the two of them off. I don't know if he thought the game was done, he was looking ahead to the weekend, or he just made changes, but as soon as Ross County get the first goal, I thought they're going to score again. They had momentum, and then towards the end of the game, it went 2 each. Ross County could have won it, to be honest. Ross County had a couple of chances towards the end of the game, so I think the manager's got to take that one on the chin and say maybe his substitutions interrupted the flow of Hibs in the game. But they've got to play a lot better, I think, than the semi-final to beat Aberdeen. Aberdeen are hot and cold this season, the same as Hibs, so it's very difficult to actually predict this game because both teams are capable of turning up on their day and playing really well and going through, but it's all about on the day because I think they're pretty evenly matched, to be honest.
Let's find out what the managers are saying. Kerry Pollock covered it.
We are not far away now from finding out whether it's going to be Aberdeen or Hibernian who head into the Viaplay Cup final to take on either Rangers or Hearts. Both clubs have experienced euphoria and heartbreak here at the National Stadium, and Don's boss Barry Robson has just one clear message for his players.
Just one. I think you're just here to try and win the game, and pressure's a good thing. When pressure comes, that's when players perform most of the time. And we've found that, especially with my players, they've been when there's been a big occasion, obviously a lot of big games in Europe and that, they've performed well. So they've been handling that well, and they're expecting to be handling that tomorrow again.
As for Nick Montgomery's Hibernian side, they'll be hoping to get back to winning ways and give their supporters another reason to come back here to Glasgow. Here's what the Hibs boss had to say ahead of the big tie.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great occasion. Getting to a semi-final is a good achievement in itself. But nobody goes to a semi-final, anything else, but to go and try and win it and advance to the final. So yeah, it's definitely a game that we're looking forward to. We've earned the right to get to the semi-final, and now we've got to earn the right to get to the final. So it's going to be a good occasion, and plenty of fans travelling down for the game as well.
It's Aberdeen against Hibernian in the Viaplay Cup semi-final, but just who will make it through to the final? Kick-off is here at the National Stadium at 5:15.
Yeah, really looking forward to that one, Ruffy. And as Tam says, you know, both teams, it's hot and cold. Aberdeen certainly were hot against Motherwell.
Yeah, they certainly were. And saying that, I don't think Motherwell were particularly good on the night. You know, they're on a wee bit of a slide. just now, but certainly they've got a few players in that team that will cause Hibs problem. My biggest problem with Hibs is the centre of defence. I know Tom was saying no, they took the boy off, but Hanlon for me is just having a shocker just now. He's just going through one of these stages, and I think Aberdeen have got too much up front. I think they'll cause lots of problems, but I do think it'll go the whole hog. I think it'll go to extra time, and after that I hope Hibs win this one.
Yeah,
Aberdeen beat us in '82, so still hoping for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to see that Ruffy's let that.
41 years ago.
I was going to say to you, it's good to see that Ruffy's let that one go, because there's so many defeats that have been paid for. If you want a more detailed insight into, of course, the semi-finals, then Lee and Tam have managed to get together and look at it in greater detail if you want more of that semi-final build-up.
I played centre half, centre mid, left wing, right wing, and centre forward that game. I remember that Danny Wilson gets sent off, and then Kevin Thompson gets sent off, and went down to 9 men. And I actually played centre half, a 2, back 4, and then we went to a 3, and I was a right centre half. Me and Big Davy Weir against Mehmet, and the other one, they called them Big Bouncers, but great big.
I know that.
That was the least enjoyable game I have ever played. They were just booming it, but I think, looking back on it now, and touched on this a little bit earlier, we went down to 9 men, so St Mirren obviously had 2 extra men. Expectation changed, and I don't know if they could coped with that. So everybody's saying, right, go and win the game. And I think they froze a little bit.
Yeah, good to get a wee bit of memories from Cup semi-finals and finals, Ruffy. It's good to see the young team coming through and giving us their memories as well.
Yeah, but both of them.
Well, Lee's turned out winning.
Yes.
He did, aye.
He make the team.
How many semis did you play?
Quite a few.
Yeah?
Won a few, I played in a few finals, lost them all, but played in a few.
Still getting there's an achievement, by the way.
Aye.
Did you keep the medals?
You remember Celtic won the treble in 2001?
Yeah.
Beat Hibs in the final 3-0. So I was the odd man out. So McLeish took us down to Cameron House, and he gave me and I'd scored the winner in the 5th round, the winner in the quarter final, and played in the semi. And I thought that might be enough, and he tapped my door on the Saturday morning. You're on the bench. So we get beat 3-0 for Celtic, and I never got a medal because I wasn't involved. And McLeish came down after the game and stuck his loser's medal in my hand. Said, "You take that, wee man, you deserve it."
Did you keep it?
I kept it.
Yeah, absolutely.
In their pocket, they duplicate.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you trashed your hotel room when he told you were out.
Did I?
It's your worst nightmare, isn't it? I don't know why I'm looking at you. Have you ever had the chap in the door?
No. Luckily enough, no. But obviously, the big games have, and it's a horrible feeling, isn't it? It's like it gets you right inside. It's no good.
No, of course, it's a good preview if you want to watch it on our YouTube channel. Adam Binney with Lee and Tam. Memories of semi-finals and finals. Well worth it. And of course, they give their insight into who they think is going to win. If you want to watch that, by all means, on our YouTube channel. Young Adam, the rising star, whose catchphrase is, "I'm going to retire you, Martin." And who am I to argue with him, Ruffy? But as far as Aberdeen are concerned, they might be hot and cold. We've got to come up with a prediction on them. Are they hot enough for you to see off Hibs?
I think it's the hardest game to call. Both teams are so erratic. I'm going to go for Hibs winning 2-1, simply because of the front three.
Okay, interesting one. 2-1 for the Hibs. Ruffy, where are you going with this one? Head and heart?
No, I said earlier, I think their 2 front men will cause them problems. I'm going to go the whole road in this one, extra time. I hope it's no penalties. I don't like seeing semi-finals getting decided in penalties.
What's your prediction?
Hibs.
2-1 after extra time.
Yeah.
Tam?
Hibs 2-1.
Well, amazingly, I think I don't read social media all that much, Tam, but somebody sometimes relays it to me and in the week just past,
you're getting slaughtered for the Hibs fans.
I've been getting slaughtered. I'm being slaughtered.
So you're not going to pick them out of spite. You're
not
going to pick a sheep.
I am going to be balanced on this because obviously you two played for Hibs and Jig just lost the plot. But they've been giving me absolute pelters saying he hates Hibs and he's a Hearts fan. And
there's a degree of truth in that because you're in Anne Budge's pocket. Anyway, continue.
The point is this: I'm looking at both sides. There's a lot of quality in that Hibs team. This is a roughy build-up.
I know.
2-1 Aberdeen.
Oh, no, he's right for Aberdeen.
I'm going for the Dundee Dons.
Oh,
I think Miofsky's the match.
I hope the Hibs fans slaughter you in the comments. See the comments underneath, please, if you're watching.
What the Hibs fans need to do is get a raffle ticket because there's a few fans in front of them from other clubs. But I'm going for the Dandies to win this one, 2-1, Ruffy. Because, as you know, I'm up there for the Gothenburg dinner. I can't let them down. No, but I genuinely do. I think Miofsky is a type of match winner.
Honestly, no result in this game would surprise me. It's just very difficult to predict both teams.
Okay, so if by all accounts, then it would be a Rangers Hibs final for you guys. So I'm going for a Rangers Aberdeen final. It used to be so regular. We used to be well used to Rangers Aberdeen finals, and there's been a few belters down through the years.
Skull Cup, was it?
The Skull Cup was an absolute. You dragged one right out there, yeah. The Skull Cup. There's been a few great games and great teams there. But
who was the one when Alex Ferguson after the game said Miller McLeish won it? Was that against Rangers?
Well, you can't tell him that because he goes mental.
Was it?
He wasn't having that. I did that at a gala dinner for.
Was it Rangers who beat them? They beat in the final.
They beat Rangers, I think, by a solitary goal.
And they said they were a disgrace.
And they said they didn't play well.
Yeah, Miller McLeish won as a cup. We were a disgrace after the game.
He said only Miller McLeish were worthy of their medals, and I remember Alex McLeish phoning Gordon Strachan and saying, "Have you still got that medal I won you?" So there's always a good noise up with it. Anyway, 2 semi-finals to look forward to. Really looking forward to it, and of course we'll keep you right up to date with all the build-up on that on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Will be across both semi-finals and right across our social media. You'll get not only the previews but reaction from managers and players after it as well, so lots to look forward to there. And of course the other games in the Scottish Premiership we're going to look at, but just quickly on that, Ruffy, just looking back on the midweek games. Of course, we touched on Dundee against Rangers, mentioned Motherwell against Aberdeen, of course the Hibs. Celtic in the end left it late, but finally delivered a goal that eventually won the points for Celtic. It seems as if sometimes you think it's a well-oiled machine and the engine's moving well, and then sometimes they just labour it at the moment.
Yeah, I think it is stuttering a bit, and obviously Brendan Rodgers will have to get the pulse on that, how that's happening. There are players who last year would do 90 minutes and never ever be taken off, but this year, he's not frightened to take them off, and replace them. I still don't think the people who are coming on are replacing them, although the boy O scored the winner. I don't think the players that are coming onto the park are revitalising them. They're not making them better than what they were. So, no, I think Celtic can just not a troubled time, just a sort of a not at the level that we all knew they can be at.
Yeah, and players have to take their opportunity. Brendan Rodgers pointed that out in his press conference about the players that are coming in. The players know things can change very quickly in football. You might be outside of it, but then you can get a chance. When that chance comes, you have to be ready. Liam Scales is a perfect example. He was on the outside, not even travelling with squads. Now he's playing at a really high level, and I think that's the... you only have to look back in the last couple of years. Anthony Ralston was another prime example.
Yeah, you've got to be ready. When you're out of teams, particularly at big clubs, you've got to train as if you're playing. You're in the starting 11 because, as you said there, there might come an opportunity, and if you're not ready, if you've been out of the team for a couple of months and you come in and you're miles off it, then you're not going to get another opportunity. So you've got to train well. You've got to look after yourself. And I think Brendan's obviously very big on that. Training hard, looking after yourself, your body weight, your body fat, everything, and you're prepared to come straight into the team. And Liam Scales is a prime example of that. He was miles out of the picture. you know, we're talking about selling him back to Aberdeen. He's came in, he's obviously been ready, he's looked after himself, and he's come into the team. So I think that's a message to every player at Celtic, that be ready for the nod when you get it.
Yeah, because he's keeping Narowski and Lagerbielke out of the team.
Yeah, he certainly is. I mean, I don't think he's done anything wrong. I still think he's a wee bit raw at the higher level, you know, but the more games you play at that level, the better you'll get, you know, and all credit to the boy. He would have been at Aberdeen, there's no doubt about that. So he's done particularly well since he got in. But I just seem the substitutions and players that are playing and no playing sort of a thing. And Brendan's already come out and saying there's a tiredness with all the games, and you know, but he continues to plays them. You know,
well, they left out Carter Vickers. That was a strange one, wasn't it?
The thing about I don't know if he's carrying an injury or no, but you know, when you see the European games coming around at the high level, the teams like Atletico Madrid on the Saturday before it will drop 9 players because they think they're good enough to go away. I mean, Celtic don't think they're at that stage yet. Yeah. They could go into St Mirren and leave 9 players out.
Well, Ange done it last year, didn't he? And get beat off at St Mirren and all the changes.
So. At St Mirren, though. Yeah, at Celtic Park, though, I mean, I think a number of people are waiting for to convince them that he's the real deal. So he just has to keep stepping up to the plate and delivering.
Yeah, it must be hard for him, though, because he's not really starting games. So coming on the last 20 minutes, it can be difficult. But when he does come on at times, he gets chances, and it seems to be that he's just no luck in front of goals. You got the goal the other night, it probably took a lot of confidence for that with scoring the winner. And it'll be interesting to see now if he starts or not, which I don't think he will if Brendan's keeping that same formation. It's got to be Kyogo all day, isn't it? So O's just got to wait his turn. It's what Tam's saying. If you're not playing, you need to be ready. And all the top managers will say to young football players, what you paid for, and they'll say playing on a Saturday. Well, it's turning up to train at the best of your ability every single day to hope that you get picked for the Saturday. That's what they're actually paid for.
Yeah.
So I think Brendan's gone down that road by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and of course it's Ross County with the early kick-off on Saturday for Celtic. And Ross County have been, you know, showing a bit of form, showing a bit of battling qualities, even when they go behind, Ruffy.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that game against Hibs was a perfect example. You know, that they looked down and out at 2-0, but they kept grinding away. I think that's the way Malky's teams are, particularly up there. But again, at Celtic, it's going to be 75% possession. It's going to be shots at goal. There's going to be their goalkeeper making save after save. So it depends whether it's one of the days where the ball's not going in the back of the net or the ball is going in the back of the net. And if it is going in the back of the net, I would think it would be 3 or 4-0.
Yeah.
But, you know, it depends when Celtic score.
It depends also. It'll be interesting to see what kind of support makes its way up to Dingwall, Tam. Because the Green Brigade, as you know, are banned now from home and away. And there's been obviously, you know, a fair bit of to and fro, press releases non-stop. They're banned, and it's caused a fair bit of consternation. This is what the response is with regards to their ban. Green Brigade, the season tickets now banned, sanctions applied are unfair, bereft of policy, process and communication with individuals wrongly punished before any allegation or any evidence. We occasionally breach the assorted regulations which are in place to sterilise football stadiums. We have no regrets in bypassing stadium security checks to produce displays which are welcomed by the Celtic support. We categorically deny sinister and defamatory allegations of breaking in and intimidating, threatening and abusive behaviour towards staff. So that seems to be the crux of their response to Celtic banning them.
They say they put banners up that the Celtic support agree with. Not every Celtic supporter is probably going to agree with. It's as if they are the voice of Celtic. I don't think they are, Peter.
Yeah.
They're in a minority, in my opinion, and they don't speak for the whole of Celtic support.
I'll tell you one thing about it. We've all had our say on it, and I've obviously been vocal on the point that we have to comment on the actions within sport. I'm not going to comment on the legitimacy of, you know, putting up Palestine flags and their stance on it and the democratic right, because quite simply anything political, when it comes under UEFA's banner, they pick up a fine consistently, Ruffy. One of the offshoots of their actions, and I think there was at one point a Hamas flag flying in that area, is then you open it out to the wider public and the criticism that comes the way of the club. And Israel's head coach, Alan Hazan, has advised Abada to stay at Celtic, but he says Celtic fans are known to be anti-Semitic, and Abada apparently demanded the board condemn the fans for pro-Palestine banners. Celtic have responded by saying any suggestion that the Celtic support is anti-Semitic is totally inaccurate. Celtic is a diverse club, proud to be open to all. Ever since its formation in 1888, everyone at Celtic continues to give Lil Abada our full support. I think Celtic are right to point that out. I think you tread very dangerous waters to suggest that Celtic are an anti-Semitic club based on the stance of putting up Palestine flags, Ruffy. I think you've got to tread carefully and choose your words carefully on making what I call as a wide assertion that that's everybody, and just because they hold a Palestine flag up, they are anti-Semitic. That is it's a longer argument, but I think it's wrong to label the Celtic support.
That's exactly what Tam's just said there. In that statement for the boy for Israel, the whole of Celtic Football Club has been put under that banner when it's a minority group in the corner. And that's what's going to happen. But as you say, the bottom line of it is, if UEFA say don't do it, you're going to get fined. Why would you do it? You're just punishing the club, and as we know, fines start here and they go to there, and then they go to there, and then, where does it end up?
They just think they'll fundraise and pay the money so it doesn't come out the club's pocket. That's
well, the other thing,
the Green Brigade.
The other thing I think I have to highlight, Tam, and I have to mention this point. It's very specific towards this incident. It is not just the situation where the Green Brigade have been banned because of their stance on Palestinian flags and their support of Palestine. It is a collection of various incidents that have happened that have brought Celtic Football Club to this point where they've banned them. It is not the issue solely of the waving of Palestine flags. It is a number of issues which have caused the club concern, and they've finally taken action this time around. They have done before, but this time around to ban them at home and away games. I don't see a way back for them. I can see them splintering into various parts of the stadium by hook or by crook.
It's interesting that they've done away games as well, Peter, which seems to insinuate that there was a lot of talk about overcrowding at games. People forcing their way into games, and I think there was a picture at Motherwell where you couldn't see the walkways. It was full. It was full.
Yeah.
So I think that game in particular has came to the attention of the Celtic board.
Yep, it's a collection of incidents which have prompted them to ban the Green Brigade home and away. You can have your arguments over the Palestine situation elsewhere, but we deal with the football issues as the main reasons for prompting the ban. The legitimacy of putting flags up elsewhere in life is for another programme.
The horrible thing about it is the humour involved in the banners is good for everybody to see.
So, what you mean, other banners?
Yeah, other banners. The humour that supporters do put up, in particularly semi-final and final games, add something to the game as long as they're not controversial, as long as they're taken in good taste. So they have got something to offer. As long as
and the atmosphere as well at the games, particularly at Parkhead, that they add to that.
Yeah, I'm going to be brutally honest with you though. That atmosphere can be recreated, Lee, when you have a winning team on the park. Fans eventually will find their voice. It's not the end of a great atmosphere at Celtic Park just because the Green Brigade is dismantled.
No, I think the Green Brigades probably set the tone at the start of the game to get all the rest of the fans involved, but it's up to the players and the team to get the fans in the edge of their seats. It's meant to be an entertaining game, and I think the fans will definitely go with the teams. I don't see it being a big loss, but I think if you're a Celtic player on and off the pitch, you represent the club. If you're a Celtic fan in the stands, you also represent the club. That's sort of my stance on it.
Yeah, okay. The argument will undoubtedly rage on. Whether there's any way back for them or not, I think not, Ruffy. Do you?
I think they're a big part of the club when they behave themselves properly, as Lee just said there. You know, that for the good things that they do, when they do the good things, it gives a good vibe at the games. But something's got to be done. It has to come to it can't keep going on, because you can't keep getting punished every time you're getting told not to do it, you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we will follow that story as it continues. But Viaplay League Cup semi-finals to look forward to. And of course, let's not forget, Ross County Celtic. What's your prediction?
4-0 to Celtic.
What? 4-0 Have you got that down in your prediction?
Yes.
4-0 to
4-0
Celtic.
to Celtic, yes.
Okay. Rough.
I've got 2-0 Celtic.
Yeah, okay. I think it might be really tight. 2-1 Celtic.
3-0. So we've got to have a winner, really, haven't we?
Yeah.
If you think about it between the four of us.
So 3-0 Celtic.
3-0 Celtic.
Yeah, okay. Well, we might not have a winner if Ross County win.
Exactly. The chances.
Okay. You can give us your thoughts on that in the comments section below. Kilmarnock against Motherwell. Now, I think Kelly, if anything, Derek McInnes will be pulling his hair out. You know, one minute he thinks, starting to click into gear here. Next minute, St Johnstone.
Away form still poor, Peter. And Ruffy's touched on it a couple of weeks ago that their home form last season was outstanding. It was top 4, top 5 material. And I think they won one game away from home. I think it was St Mirren towards the end of the season. Again, their home form this season has been poor. And he's got to sort that out, Derek. If he can sort that away form out, they will be in the top 6, because their home form is top 6, without a doubt. But
look at the stats for their away form.
Yeah, they've played 31 away league games and won 4. You know, that's a terrible record. And it just shows you how good their home form has been, because they've not really been in any bother, really. So if he can sort that out, then they'll be in the top 6. But started the game poorly at St Johnstone. You know, 2-0 down after 8 minutes, and that's a long way back. They got the goal back. St Johnstone were down to 10 men, but they hung on. But I think they'll beat Motherwell at home.
Yeah.
Motherwell are... You know, a couple of my friends are Motherwell fans with the game the other night, and it was the worst performance they'd seen in a long time at Motherwell. You know, they were 4-0 down at one point, and I don't think they had a shot in goal, which was incredible at home for part. So they're in trouble, a wee bit of trouble at the minute. Motherwell, they're playing with a real lack of confidence. They're 6 games without a win, 5 defeats and a draw. So they go down to Kilmarnock. I'd fancy Kilmarnock strongly to beat Motherwell.
Ruffy?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Kilmarnock at home have been very good. Their 2 strikers are very good at home. I think they get hit pretty early, obviously, with St Johnstone, 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. You know, that's going to give any team a lift. You know, and then all of a sudden, Kilmarnock probably went into that game and said, look, well, we're all saying, right, this is a 3-pointer here. And all of a sudden, you're 2-0 down, and you've got to do something about it. And they never did it. And I thought the difference for St Johnstone was, we were talking it for ages, how do you turn this round? You turn it round by putting a striker on the part and scoring goals. And they had Clark and Kane on, which obviously made the difference. But you could see the difference in the St Johnstone team when that first goal went in. You know, it just lifted everybody. It lifted the fans as well. So, no, good luck to them, and it makes it a wee bit more exciting down the bottom.
Yeah, could have been 3 consecutive wins for Derek McInnes, so it just wasn't to be. How do you see that one going?
Kilmarnock home win.
Yeah.
So what's happened to Motherwell? It's as if they fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like, they started the season well, they finished the season unbelievably last season, and I don't know, the last 4 or 5 games have been terrible. So I think Motherwell would take a point now if you to offer them it. For me, I think bookies' favourites have got to be Kelly. Kelly home form. I think Kelly will win it 2-0.
Yep, I've got 2-1.
2-1 Kelly.
2-1 Kelly. 2-0.
Comfortable 2-0.
Wow. Yeah. Is it a comfortable Ruffy 2-0?
Is it comfortable or a uncomfortable one?
No, I'll be comfortable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just keep that in mind. What Ruffy's saying there. Anyway, of course, that's how it looks on the Saturday. On the Sunday, it's Dundee against Livingston. I don't think there'll be too many worries over flares on the Sunday, Ruffy.
No, I don't think there will be. I mean, I think Livingston are in a sticky wicket now, and I don't think it's good that St Johnstone wanting to speak to their manager. I think that will help the bonding of the team as well. It's going to be a desperate time for Livingston, although Dundee get hammered I think they'll come back. I think they're good enough to beat that Livingston side.
Yeah, of course, all the speculation over who's going to become the St Johnstone manager. Right now, David Martindale is only interested in what he can do for Livingston. He's well aware, though, that the pressure is on, as Patrick Mullen found out.
I'm here at the Tony Macaroni Arena this morning speaking to David Martindale as his side are preparing to take on Dundee. The team training just behind me sits second bottom in the Premiership table, but Martindale has insisted that he is not worried about this so early in the season.
I don't see why it can't happen. I think we've got to evolve as an association, as clubs. We've got to evolve also, and I think that multi-club ownership, I've been very vocal about it. I think, for talking sake, Livingston is a very good club for that model. You look at all Brighton, Union, there's a real successful model there if implemented properly.
It's been reported during the week that the SFA is ready to loosen its rules on dual ownership of football teams in Scotland, and it's fair to say that David Martindale is fully on board with this decision.
Not really, because if you look at the difference between second bottom and fifth, is it one game, 3 points? So I think it needs to be put into perspective, but I don't really get caught up in all this, if I'm honest. Like, I've been at Livingston 10 years, and I've been in a relegation battle for 8 of them. And people can laugh at that, but that's the harsh reality of it.
It's Dundee versus Livingston on Sunday afternoon. It kicks off at 2 p.m, and we'll be keeping you up to date with live updates throughout the game.
Yeah, they're well used to playing each other.
Yeah, weird. Played them last week at the Tony Macaroni, and Dundee beat them 2-0. So they'll get into the game with confidence. I think Livingston obviously got the man sent off, but weird that they're playing each other, the following week. So it probably changes my perspective on the score a little bit. I said on the other day on the semi-final show, I think it's hard to beat a team twice in quick succession. So I think this will be a draw. I was going to go for Dundee to win, but I don't think Dundee will beat them twice in a week. So I'm going for a draw in this game, one each.
Yeah. Dundee 1-0 for me, Ruffy.
It's a Dundee win for me, but it just depends. Can you pick yourself up after a 5-0 defeat? Sometimes it's difficult. Depends what kind of players you've got in the dressing room, but I do think they'll beat them 2-0.
So they've got good players in the dressing room.
2-0.
2-0. What a comfortable 2-0. Lee?
I think a tough one to call. I'm going to go sit in the fence along with Tam. One each.
One each. Here's how the Premiership table looks after the midweek games. Celtic still out in front. It was nervy for Celtic fans. Rangers certainly hoping there's a slip up again. It's only 5 points of difference now. St Mirren tucked in third place with that advantage of a game in hand over Hearts, who are in the chasing pack. How do you see that bottom end? It's starting to look familiar, Tam, as far as what we predicted.
Isn't it? It just shows you what one win does. St Johnstone are now in touch. They looked as if 4 points. They were, miles off it. But one win and they win their game in hand. They go, joint bottom with Livingston. So Livingston have fallen down that table, Peter, from the start of the season.
Livingston win, they can go fifth.
Yeah, it's very tight. As I said, Hibs are there. You're talking 4 points for 4th and 11th. So it's very, very tight. So anybody that can string any sort of consistency together and get 2 or 3 wins will shoot up the table.
You're not that long retired, Lee. I'm not a big fan of 12, but the SPFL are a big fan of 12. It can't be right that sometimes even as high as 4th, you're still trying to make sure you're away from relegation. What did you think of the league when you were playing in it?
It's sometimes got a little bit monotonous. It was I would prefer right now more teams in the league.
Yeah.
Is there teams there that will come up and actually survive in the league and keep it as competitive as what it is now, as clearly as you can see? I'm not sure, but maybe they need a couple of years to establish that. And how do you get the teams in the league in the fairest possible way?
Yeah, the other thing I remember from many, many years ago, and it stuck with me, was Paul McStay said it became so monotonous that people knew exactly which way you were jinking. Yeah. You played them that often, they knew your tricks.
Fives, Peter.
Yeah. It's exactly that, by the way.
Do you know what the player's going to do because you're playing with them twice a week?
Yeah.
A little bit like that. Maybe Paul's a little bit better than us.
Yeah, by an absolute country. but the other thing about it is now, to be honest with you, Ruffy, as soon as I see Lee's in my side, the immediate thing I think is defeat. That's the only thing I think.
You're not the only one.
We're on the worst run of all time, and it really begs the question. McFadden needs to have a long, hard look at himself.
I was in Faddy's team today, and we get beat.
Yeah, he's still a great player.
It's a common denominator here.
I know, exactly.
Like this.
Okay, what about the predictor? I had an absolute shocker. How have you been getting on with the predictor? Look
Ruffy's got his favourite number again.
Ruffy, you're there, 55, going for 56 points.
Where are you? How come I'm not on that?
Well, because you're ranked rotten.
Ruffy, I'm
below you.
Yes.
Ruffy, I'm joint.
Oh no.
I had a bad.
Honestly,
I had a bad.
I had a really,
I must have
really
had a
bad
right
one.
good week.
And by the way, Ruffy,
Shot that table for relegation.
I have to tell you, even DJL, who was out in front, is,
You're bottom.
Yeah, I know, 117. I had a nightmare of a week, and I forgot to put Hibs Ross County in as well.
How many's in it?
About 600 now.
See, 117 is good then.
It's not bad, but it's not good when you look at who's ahead of me.
I know.
So that's how we're faring with that. Ruffy, you confident about it all?
Yeah, I'm just quite happy where I am at this precise.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you one thing I was going to say to you guys. A little bit of history. Rebecca Welsh will be the first woman involved in a Premier League game. She's going to be the fourth official for Manchester United against Fulham. She was the first female to referee a championship game in January between Birmingham and Preston. So I say well done to her. I say who cares what sex anyone is. It's down to the fact that as long as you can help as a team get the right decisions, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if anything, she'll be like a beacon for other women to see exactly where they can go in this sport, in any sport.
Yeah, I mean, you have to appreciate as well. She's came through the ranks like all our referees. I suppose she's been trying to get to where she is just now for a few years, and let's hope that the people at the side give her the respect that she's due, you know, to do her job properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, Ruffy. And the other thing is, I think it's, I'm looking at the managerial merry-go-round. We're getting to that point in the season as we fast approach the festive period. That's when usually some chairmen look and think there's a January transfer window coming up. Am I going to stick with a manager? Manchester United have come out and said, listen, all this talk of Eric Ten Hag getting the sack is nonsense.
Must be under P, Peter.
If they lose to Fulham.
Must be. I watched them during the week there against Newcastle and they were dire.
They're brutal.
They've been pumped. Twice in quick succession they've been battered at Old Trafford. And I just think they're going nowhere. I just think he's inherited a kind of poisonous group of players. He's not signed well. He now looks, when I see him on the sideline, he looks as if he's resigned to getting the chop, to be honest. He doesn't look as if he's can turn it around. And I think it's just a matter of time, because it's, you know, he's continuing having to play players who, Bruno Fernandes, captain, never a captain in a million years for me, Bruno Fernandes. I think that's his first big mistake. And some of the signings, I mean, you've got Anthony, 85 million. 85 million for Anthony.
I see it as just really, really bad recruitment.
Mason Mount, 50 million. You know,
like over.
And the striker,
over the
70 million. Hojlund.
See, here, would you get rid of the manager or would you get a sporting director in first? Then do what you've got to do with the manager. What I mean is, so you get a sporting director, then he gets rid of the manager. The sporting director can be responsible for the recruitment for the next manager coming in. Something's got to happen. But then there's a continuity when the sporting director comes in. That's my point.
I think there's too much importance placed on a sporting director. The manager's ranked rotten. He just can't get a trick out of this team.
Then, if you've got a sporting director and you bring in Den Haag and he goes and gets the players in recruitment, you've got to have in your head as a sporting director, I need to bring in somebody that will be able to work with the players. And it's not just, and the next manager will come in and say, well, see these 12 players,
I don't want them.
Don't want them. Don't want them. Get rid of them. So that's the difficulty.
Yeah.
So a sporting director at least has a little bit of continuity, or should have.
Well, I have to say to you, I just don't see the value in that. I'll give you, and I give you the perfect situation. And by the way, it could all go pear-shaped for him because Tottenham have got a record of it with the board as well. But Postecoglou's come in and inherited a squad. He hasn't had a lot of time to bring in his own players.
Yep.
His big call will be January. But he's gone in and looked and said, I've lost the best striker in Europe to Bayern Munich. And I've still got a trick out of this team. And he's organised them. They're top of the table. Eric Ten Hag's come in. He's won a League Cup last season. Other than that, this team has just looked woeful. And I just do not see... I don't see how he can survive, Ruffy.
No. Well, obviously it's Fulham, did you say?
Fulham.
Yep.
If that wasn't that was to be a defeat, I think he'd be getting in Monday and saying to the secretary, could you check if I've got an 8-year deal here?
But that's the problem, Ruffy.
Don't get that secure van, my pay out.
You've actually just highlighted what the problem is. The problem is you have a situation where this club's in turmoil off the park as well, because people want the Glazers out. There's been a long protracted sale of the club which didn't materialise. Now whether shares have been going up and down as a consequence of that, or what has happened that may well have benefited the Glazers or not, they're still there. And Manchester United don't seem to have a direction where they're going with a clear plan. And that, remember, is going back through various managers who had to suffer an inept chief executive, and it cost them their jobs, to where they are now with a club that looks rudderless.
It's madness. It's Manchester United we're talking about, one of the biggest clubs in the world. And it's just went so downhill. There doesn't seem to be any leadership. There's nobody really speaking out in defence of the Glazers, in defence of really the manager. Everybody just seems to be ducking for cover and pointing the finger at each other. I'm not sure it'd be a nice environment to actually work in. Yeah,
there's something wrong, especially with the inflated prices for players who clearly are just not up to it. And then I give you Unai Emery at Villa, transform them.
Yep. Great manager. I think if Man United would have got Big Ange in, they'd have been top of the league. Because Big Ange is only second to Pep in my mind as a manager. One of the best managers in the world, Big Ange. I love him. I think he's some manager.
Okay.
I love him.
Okay. I haven't heard that from a pundit on the programme. I don't think I've ever seen a love a manager. I've fought with a few. I've never seen a love a manager.
Big Ange's a man.
Are you tipping him to beat Chelsea on Monday?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. No bother. Home.
No
Man can walk in water.
Yeah.
You're taking it too far now.
He's
I just want Big Ange in a bag of cans.
He's absolutely nauseating, isn't he? I mean, unbelievable. I never thought I'd hear that. Remember, the thoughts of Tam McManus are not necessarily the thoughts of the rest of the programme. I think we've got to distance ourselves from that league. Okay, that's your English Premier League as well to look forward to. In fact, I think Tottenham-Chelsea is undoubtedly one of the picks of the weekend, including, of course, Ruffy, Newcastle against Arsenal. Newcastle going to Old Trafford and giving Man United the once-over and, fancying themselves against Arsenal.
Yeah, they've got their act together as well now. They were languishing down the bottom there for a wee while, but 2 or 3 wins are up there, and it looks... I've never been in the stadium, but it looks an absolutely fantastic atmosphere when they're winning. It just looks great.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we talk football. If you love football, don't forget, hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel and you can join the football family. We're absolutely delighted with your support for our programming, and let's not forget also that you can watch the Women's Football Show. We've got straight talk going out there with one-to-ones on a regular basis, and over and above that we've got the Journos Show, which is proving to be very popular, as well as, of course, so much content out there for you to enjoy, including, of course, the Women's Football Show as well. So if you want to get a piece of it, then don't forget you can also download the PLZ Soccer app, and all the breaking football news will be at your fingertips. Thanks to Ruffy, thanks to Tam McManus and Lee McCulloch, and from myself, Peter Martin. Thank you for listening on the podcast, and thank you for watching.